Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you guys doing today? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is 3 Buck Theater, and Terminator Dark Fate is right around the corner. The sixth film in the series, what is now going to be considered the actual Terminator 3, not the one from 16 years ago. No, not that one at all. But this new one is considered the actual sequel to Terminator 2, and that does have some fans excited, even though if this particular fan of the franchise is looking at the marketing so far and not being super impressed, that doesn't mean I'm not going to go see it. I'm absolutely going to go see it, but I'm also not really getting my hopes or expectations up, and I think that is potentially how a lot of people are going to be viewing this, because we are now getting our first look at what the estimates are, and apparently it is looking like it's going to be having a franchise record opening according to early box office projections. That's right, guys. An early franchise opening in early box office projections. Now, what does that even mean, right? Well, we talk a lot about early box office projections because it does give you an idea as to what to expect. Look at Joker, for example. Joker had an original estimate of around $60 to $90 million. That was the original estimate way out in I want to say August. It was back in August it had that kind of estimate, and then of course it did walk away with $96 million in its 3-day weekend, and a lot of that probably had to do with the controversy surrounding the movie. Now, the controversies that are surrounding this movie are nowhere near as crazy as Joker. What we have here are some trailers that are fun, but at the same time don't give us much, I think. And it's not that they're teasing what's going to be coming. It's not that they're teasing something that I got to be in the theater to see. It just kind of feels like you can almost predict how the movie is going to play out based upon the trailers, at least given what, I've seen all the trailers this time, whereas with Genesis, I never saw any of the trailers before seeing the movie, but this time I've watched the previews, and I kind of feel like I maybe should have gone in more blind. But at the same time, I like watching trailers, and it's kind of unavoidable when you go to movies all the time. So there's that. But anyway, this is what they're saying. Deadline is reporting that Dark Fate is looking at potentially pulling in about $40 million, and that could be a very conservative estimate. $40 million for this movie, which has a rumored budget of $200 million, is definitely not a lot. Right? Now, what you have to remember about this movie is that this movie is co-financed by Tencent. And right now, given all of the backlash against China over Blizzard and the NBA and South Park, it's entirely possible that people will find out that Tencent produced this movie. They co-financed this movie, and that this movie is being designed for a Chinese audience in mind in some aspects, that they may just decide to boycott the movie entirely. And that is going to be a factor that plays into the opening box office. Now, if it does end up being that, the movie blogs and the studios are going to sit there and spin it as being fans just weren't interested. The movie got middling reviews or something. But in reality, this could be one of the bigger, one of the side effects of a massive consumer revolt. But anyway, it does say here that should it perform a little above expectations, Dark Fate stands to surpass the $44 million 3-day opening of Terminator 3 back in 2003. Or T2, which opened with 31 million in 1991, which is pretty big. Now, some less conservative projections are even suggesting the box office total may be something higher, with some of sources comparing it to the potential of Mission Impossible Fallout, which pulled in 61.2 million. But Mission Impossible Fallout came out in July 2018. July 2018 tends to have those kind of openings, even though 61 million feels kind of low, doesn't it? It does feel kind of low for a Tom Cruise movie. But it does go on to say that these are just early estimates and things could change as we get closer to its release. The movie comes out November 1st. Today is October 10th. That means that there are 3 weeks until its release. So these estimates are not necessarily as early as the original Joker estimates, which came in about a month and a half early. These are estimates coming in 3 weeks early, which are generally seemingly more accurate than not. And that's the thing with this movie, is like, it doesn't necessarily feel like it's made for the American audience. It just doesn't. And I know that seems kind of weird to say, and I could be wrong about the movie. It could end up being fantastic. James Cameron did co-write the story. He did produce the movie, although that could potentially be in name only. But I do have faith in Tim Miller as the director, and I have faith in seeing Linda Hamilton absolutely kick some more ass on screen and finally giving us a solid conclusion to the Terminator trilogy, giving us a solid conclusion to everything. And I'm hoping that it's good. And potentially right now, with Arnold back and with Linda back and with Edward Furlong and a rumored cameo, that could be enough to get audiences back in the fray to come and see this particular film. I think it would be very interesting though if they show the beginning of it, and you know, you got Michael Biehn is still alive, right? Kyle Reese is still alive, but they just do de-aging technology on him. That would be kind of cool, I think. Again, I don't know what this movie is going to bring to the table, but I do know that it does have a lot of Chinese financing, and that is actually kind of worrisome to me. I'm at a point now where we're covering Hollywood. I understand completely that China is a big factor in a lot of these decisions. A lot of these movies get made because of China influencing and China money, which means that they have to be then tailored for the Chinese release, hoping to maximize the profits. Men in Black International was co-financed by Tencent, and that movie did, I think, around 90 million here domestically and not much more internationally. So the movie itself was a bit of a failure. This one could, you know, I don't know if China has the same kind of connection to Terminator that we do. The likelihood of it actually being something that the audiences turn out for, it could be pretty little considering the fact that this is a near 40-year-old franchise. And people, you know, in China just didn't grow up with it. And I think that's why nostalgia has an issue with China, because nostalgia, they don't have that there. Their nostalgia is way different than ours. And so if the movie does anything less than 40 million, it's going to be considered an absolute flop, especially coming off of Joker, which had a, you know, 60 to 70 million dollar budget and pulled in 96 million in its opening 3 days. We'll have to wait and see what happens, but I'm not holding out hope that Terminator Dark Fate is going to be as big of a blockbuster as I hope it will be. Because I want it to, like, if anything, with what's coming out in November, I would much rather it be the #1 movie of the month than, let's say, Frozen 2. But we don't live in that world. We live in the world where people are maybe kind of burnt out on these kind of sequels. We'll have to wait and see. I think if Cameron was writing and directing this one himself, it'd be a little bit different. But Tim Miller's a good choice. We'll just have to see where it all kind of goes from here. But anyway, I'll leave it to you. Your thoughts, your opinions. Let me know down in the comments below. I am very anxious to know what you guys have to say. If you guys want to just leave a like while you're at it, that'd be fantastic. While you're doing that, go ahead and type in Terminator in the chat so I know you guys made it this far. My true fans, the GOAT fans, you guys made it this far. I'll talk to you all later. Have yourself a great day, and peace out.